Welcome to I Got a Guy podcast, a podcast carefully designed to introduce a wide range of very talented and highly skilled professionals ready to share their knowledge and advice with you. Please welcome the host of I Got a Guy podcast, Michael Drelicharz.
Hello, and welcome to I Got a Guy podcast. I'm your host, Michael Drelicharz. Thank you so much for being with us again this week. We really appreciate your attention, your loyalty, and your continued viewing and listening to our episodes. We know we're bringing some great information out to our guests, for our guests, and to our listeners. And every week we really try to mix it up and change it, and identify different industries to highlight. This week is no different. As many of you know, this podcast was born out of reading a book called The Go-Giver, and it's really the genesis really was my passion for small businesses. As a small business owner, and as owning multiple businesses, I fully understand what small business owners go through, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I work in my current business, Precise Fleet Tracking, as it says here, Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions. We really serve the small business community a lot. Most of our clients are small business owners. Some are franchises. Some are independent businesses that started from nothing, much as I started Precise Fleet Tracking. But I really can appreciate and understand and empathize with those business owners. We have designed our solutions to serve that community as well, and so it's very passionate to me, very close to my heart, to do what I can to help small businesses. So this show really was designed to help small businesses promote themselves and share their story and get their message out, much like you do at a networking event. Many of us know how to network, and we network regularly. For those that aren't familiar with networking, you meet with a bunch of people and you introduce yourself, you introduce your business, you explain what a good referral would be, how you serve the customers, how you differ from the average business out there, maybe your competitors. And again, when whatever industry, it doesn't really matter. The misnomer is that referral networking is all about getting referrals, and getting referrals, you build your business. Well, the true reality is that the best way to build a business through networking is to give referrals. And that was really the essence of the book called The Go-Giver, which Bob Berg wrote several years ago. In fact, one of my previous guests, Tom Ghosh, talked about him knowing Bob Berg and how Bob Berg came out with this book, which is several years old now, but still very, very applicable and very important. So if you haven't read the book, I do encourage you to do so. Great stories in that book. For any of you that are new to I Got a Guy podcast, we welcome you. If you want to check out any of our past episodes, I encourage you to go to the website, which is igotaguypodcast.com. That's igotaguypodcast.com. And you'll see a list of all of our episodes, a brief synopsis of each episode, and a link to either listen to the episode, or you can go to Rumble or YouTube and watch the episode. So if you want to see the podcast, some people actually enjoy watching the podcast. It's there for you to see it. Sometimes our guests will have visual aids that lend itself to obviously to the YouTube and Rumble platform is better. In fact, that's going to be the case today, because I'm going to be talking about GPS tracking and some dash cams, and have some dash cam footage from some accidents that have occurred, and showing how dash cam footage has really helped these businesses. So if you do listen to our episode, this episode, you might want to watch it because of the videos that I'm going to share. I'll do some voiceover and try to talk you through what's going on the screen. And they're short little video clips. It does not dominate the episode, but there are some videos here that I think are interesting and people seem to enjoy, and we can really appreciate what business owners go through when they release a fleet of vehicles on the road with their employees, hoping that they all come back safe and sound at the end of the day. But I get off a tangent here for a second. Let's focus more on some of the housekeeping. So again, if you want to check out any past episodes of the podcast, go to igotaguypodcast.com. Check them out there. If you want to be a guest on an upcoming podcast, I encourage you to fill out the contact us pop-up that shows up on the website. You put in your name and email address and a brief message there. They'll come right to me, and we'll have a conversation, see how we can get you scheduled on an upcoming episode. We have really no boundaries, and I say that with some reservation. We do want to have a conversation, understand your business, and make sure that it would be applicable. But we have, as you can tell from our list of episodes, we've had a very wide range of businesses and personal interests, some side hustles, as guests on the show. So there's so many options, and even if a topic's been covered before, we can cover it again. It's no issue with that. So we really just want to help everyone highlight their strengths and how they're different. So many businesses, even in the same industry, approach things differently and serve customers in different ways. And there are different strokes for different folks. So really, nothing's off limits. So certainly fill out that contact us slide, and we'll have a conversation. So this week's episode, again, I'm not having an outside guest come in. We're going to talk about precise fleet tracking solutions, which is my job here. You can see on my logo here on my shirt. I'm very proud of this business. I've been running this business for now about 6 years, and really proud of it. And we've been doing some great things with helping a lot of our customers, and really been helping demonstrate our value with so many businesses. And we're going to show you a few examples today. But whether you have dash cams in your vehicles, or you have standard tracking, or you have battery trackers for non-powered assets, we've been able to provide a lot of value to our clients in so many different ways. And we really focus on our clients. And so in the first part of this episode, I'm going to talk a little bit about what differentiates us from really anybody else in the market. There are a number of things that are different, but specifically when we started Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions, I've been in the telecommunications field for decades, and I have been in technology my entire career. In fact, dating back to high school and college, I've always been in technology. So this is kind of right along the same vein that I've always been in. But I've also been always been very, very passionate about customer service. And I really do look at it from a consumer's perspective. If I were buying this product, whatever I'm selling, how would I want it to be sold to me? How would I want to buy this product? And so I designed this business and set the business plan up from a standpoint of, from the view of my consumer, what would be small business only, medium-sized business, et cetera, what would make them want to purchase from me versus anybody else? So that was the very high level foundation that we set up. And I looked at our two biggest competitors. They will remain nameless for this episode, but my two biggest competitors, because they obviously have a successful model. And I looked at what they do, how they do it, how they run their business, how they serve their customers. And part of this was talking with many of their customers, because they were my biggest competitors, I would run across them regularly as the incumbent provider. And I would ask them, if they had the opportunity to change anything, what would they do? What would they change? And so using that data is how I built the business plan. So the number one thing that we did differently here in Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions is we do not require long-term contracts. Virtually all of our competitors require long-term contracts. Now, there are a few online retailers, which I really don't consider as competition directly, because they cannot provide any support physically, no local support whatsoever. And we're going to touch on that here in a second. So there are some online providers that just sell a product, and it's just throw it in a box, ship it to a client, and hope it all works out okay. But for the majority of our providers and our competitors, they do require usually a 3-year, or in some cases a 5-year contract. One of our competitors asks their client to not only make a 5-year contract, but pay for all 5 years, 60 months of service up front on a credit card. Now, even if you have a couple vehicles, if you're spending $25, $35, $45 a month per vehicle, times 60 months, that's a substantial sum of money that you have to spend And then once you give that money to the provider, you have no leverage. If the service doesn't work, you can't cancel a service. You can't get away from it. You've already paid it. You'll never get a refund. So long-term contracts, they only benefit the provider. And if you think about it, what benefit would you receive from a long-term contract? Well, the only thing that makes sense is that you get a slight discount. Well, the reality is that precise fleet tracking solutions, we typically are less expensive than with no long-term contract than the larger providers are offering with a contract. So why would you make a long-term commitment to get a rate that's equal to or higher than the rate you're getting from precise fleet tracking solutions? It makes no sense. And you, as the consumer, as the business owner, as the purchaser of our services, you have the control. So along with no long-term contracts, there are no auto renewal clauses. We bill our services on a month-to-month basis. So if you need to cancel the services at some point, you simply notify us with a 30-day notice, 30-day written notice, and we cancel the services. And that's because I have a 30-day cancellation policy with my provider for the service. And the only thing I will say, let me touch on one last little tidbit on this topic, which is we do not require the contracts that I just stated. We do ask for a 12-month commitment, and that is different than a contract. And I'll tell you how it's different. I make a commitment with my provider that each client that I order products for, they will use the service for at least 12 months. So I am on the hook for those 12 months. So I ask my clients to give me a 12-month commitment. Now, in 6 years, I've had one, maybe two situations where a client had to cancel the product, the service early. The business changed, they were struggling, and they just couldn't do it. And again, as an empathetic small business owner, I appreciate the challenges that some businesses go through. I totally understand it. So I allow those clients to given the discussion that we have, I've allowed them to break their commitment with me. All I ask in return is return the equipment to me, whether I go out physically and remove the equipment from their vehicles or they remove it and they send it to me. I need that equipment back. Now that allows me to either return it back to my provider or rent it out to somebody else. But when we talk through the remaining months and what we do with the financial commitment that I have for the remaining months of that agreement. If there's only a month or two left, oftentimes we forgive it and we move on and we part friends, and in hopes that sometime their business may change and might come back. I don't want anything to be adversarial. I don't want anything to be confrontational. I really want it to be fair. So the bottom line is we don't have the contract, but we do ask for a 12-month commitment, but it is much different than a contract. Most of our customers, the vast majority, again, one or two have executed that early cancellation. Everybody else has stayed on as clients for many, many years. And I'm very proud of that, and I'm very appreciative of the loyalty that my clients have been offering. We are local here in the Chicagoland area. We do serve clients throughout the country, and we have many clients scattered throughout the country. Here locally, within the multi-state area of the Midwest, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, Indiana, Michigan, we do service our clients personally, which includes local delivery, local installation, local support, and local training. If you're outside the area, we will get the products to you. I will coordinate an installation, on-site installation for you, and we will provide training and support as we can. If I can be there in person, I will. Sometimes we do it via Zoom, and it works out very well. But I am very much a hands-on person and a hands-on business. We don't just refer you to a website to get your own training. We don't refer you to a series of videos to get your training. We train you in person, your specific situation. And when we do the installation, even if it's remote, we help you configure your units so all the data is in the system as best we can. So we really work with you to get the most out of the system. And we do that through a personalized approach to support your account. But again, most of our clients are here in the Chicagoland area or the Midwest in Chicago, Wisconsin, Indiana, et cetera. And we do service those clients, face to face, belly to belly, and provide them awesome service. And as I mentioned, we are here in the Chicagoland area. We never hide behind an overseas call center. You'll never receive a toll-free number from Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions and talk to somebody in another country. Whether it be a language barrier, a time zone issue, or simply a lack of knowledge. When you call into Precise Fleet Tracking, you get Precise Fleet Tracking directly, and we handle your calls. And we take your calls on the evenings, weekends, holidays. It doesn't matter. When you need us, we're here to handle. Recently, I had a client call me at 7:30 on a Friday evening. Happened to be relaxing with my family, had my phone next to me, phone rang, customer called me. I answered the phone. He was surprised. He thought he'd get my voicemail and we'd talk on Monday. I said, no, I'm here. No reason to ignore your call. Let's chat. And we chatted for about a half an hour, had a great conversation, and we were able to work through some questions that he had. And that's the level of service that we provide. And that's really, I think it's important because some businesses are 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and are off on the weekends. So many of our small businesses do work 7 days a week or 6 days a week. Sometimes they work from 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. So we have to be nimble. We have to be available because if the incident occurs, and you're going to see these on the videos here in a couple moments, accidents happen. A lot of times we get called because of an accident. And it's an emergency, it's an urgent situation, and there's questions about what happened or how can we get the video footage, et cetera. And we do our best to get that to our clients as quickly as possible. So we don't want to necessarily wait until Monday morning to deal with that. We deal with it right then and there. Another aspect that is really, really important, and this is going to take a couple minutes to explain, but the GPS data that you capture with our GPS tracking units. You as a client have access to that information. You have a secure portal access to access all your data. And this data is the vehicle information, where you're going, where they stop, where they drive, how fast they drive, et cetera. All that data is in the system, and you are the only one that has access to that. Obviously, we as the provider have access to it also, but that's where it stops. Now, most of our competitors, where they sell that information. They sell that information to Google and to other research firms. And so often lately, we're finding that insurance companies are getting into the GPS tracking business. Now, are they doing that because they want to help their clients out? Well, maybe. But more than likely, the reason the insurance companies are getting into GPS tracking is because they are trying to accurately bill their clients for the risk, because insurance is all about risk, mitigating risk. So you offset risk with dollars. So if you are in a business that you drive your vehicles, 5 minutes a week on Sunday mornings, and there's no traffic on the road, there's no risk, there's minimal risk of an accident, well, you're going to have a very low insurance bill. But if you drive your vehicles between 9 and 5 Monday through Friday, if you're on the expressways, if you're driving at higher speeds, if you have multiple vehicles throughout the area, the risk of an accident or an incident increases with every day. It's just a fact of life. And so the proposition for the insurance companies is how do they mitigate the risk, and how do they accurately create a cost for you, a premium that matches the risk that they're taking because of the risk of an accident or an incident or theft of a vehicle, et cetera. So the more information the insurance company has about your driving style, and not you as the owner, but you as a company and across the board of all of your employees. And if you happen to have 15 or 20 or 50 trucks, you have all these drivers, all their driving habits might be different, are different. And as the owner, obviously it's hard to know how they drive your vehicles once they leave your parking lot. And so obviously even you can't provide the insurance company with all that data because it's so varied. So the insurance companies are getting into the business now of adding a GPS tracking unit as a tool to help you, and they market this as helping you reduce your insurance costs. Well, that's a double-edged sword and that cuts both directions. So if you read the paperwork, you read the contract, and they all put this in their contract. I've seen the language. There is a paragraph when they offer you this tracking, whether it's an app on your phone or it's a physical tracking unit that you plug in the vehicle, whether or not you have access to data as the business owner, the reality is the insurance company, if they are providing that tracking unit to you, they have access to your data. And now they know exactly when, where, and how your drivers are driving. If there's an accident, even if there's an accident that doesn't require you to file an insurance claim, maybe it's not a significant accident. Maybe it's an accident you're just not going to claim because you don't want the insurance premiums to go up. If you have a tracking unit from the insurance company in your vehicle, they know the accident occurred. And that gets added to your file for underwriting the next time you renew your policy. So when you first start and you first commit to the insurance company, now oftentimes you'll make a 3-year commitment in those cases, and the first renewal period, you may get an upfront discount. They may offer you a 15% discount on your insurance premiums, which may be a lot of money. But then they have the right to change that with the data they've captured from your vehicles. In most cases, the clients see a substantial increase in future premiums because they're making up for what discount they gave you the previous period. But they also have all the facts and all the data on how many miles do your drivers drive? How fast do they drive? Are they driving on expressways? Are they driving on local side streets? Are they driving in rural America? Or are they driving in the inner city? What are they doing? How are they doing this? Are they having accidents? Are they taking the corners at high speeds? Are they rapidly accelerating or braking harshly? So all this data is available, and they're using it to help them accurately prepare a calculation that correlates to your premium. And it's helping the insurance business, be more profitable. And frankly, I have no qualms with every business trying to be profitable. What I'm suggesting is that there might be, for your business, you may not want to give your GPS data to your insurance company for them to raise your insurance premiums. So the data you get from the tracking units with Precise Fleet Tracking is never shared with an insurance company. And we've never even been asked for it, but they wouldn't ask us. And it's private data. They don't even know that, in not many cases, the insurance company doesn't even know you have tracking in your vehicles. Now, you could tell them, but you're not obligated to provide them any data. You can tell them, the type of things you're doing to improve the safety of your drivers, improve the safety of your vehicles, and minimize your risks, which all helps your insurance premium, but you don't have to share the data with your insurance company. So I just want you to, sorry to go in a little more, too much detail maybe on that, but the reality is I'm very passionate about this because the data you get off our tracking units is kept private, and you never have to share that with your insurance company. And the last thing I'm going to say before we move on to the next segment is the bottom line is our focus here at Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions is not to be the largest, the biggest GPS tracking company. Our focus is to be the best provider of GPS tracking to all of our clients. We really work diligently to be the best, and we're not looking to attract and deploy the most number of units. There are some companies out there that do that, and God bless them. That's awesome. If that's important to you, go for it. I wish you the best of luck. I know that we want to serve each and every one of our clients in the best possible way. And we're doing that today. I got 6 years of experience proving that our clients are happy with the service we're providing. And we're going to continue to do this for many years to come. So when I meet a new person at a networking event, it's so entertaining to me because oftentimes I'll have somebody say, oh, by the way, have you ever thought to call FedEx? Have you ever thought to call UPS? They have a lot of trucks on the road. You ought to try to get, in with JB Hunt, great trucking company. And these are all great companies. I love them. And I use them. I use UPS. I use FedEx. I'm very familiar with JB Hunt. They're awesome companies. But those companies frankly, are too big for Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions. It's not our focus. Nothing wrong with them. It's just outside the scope of what we can and what we want to do. I want to work with the small HVAC company, the landscaping company, the snow plowing company, the towing operator, even a local delivery company that might have 2, 3, or 5 trucks or 10 trucks. Many of our biggest competitors, they ignore those small companies because there's not enough revenue for them to really put the attention into those companies. Well, for me, my scale is so different. We are a smaller company, and I'm proud of that. And because we're a smaller company, we don't have the overhead. I don't have that overseas call center. I don't have a toll-free number to pay for. I don't have a staff of thousands of people that I have to worry about. We can focus on providing the service very, very cost effectively and helping our smaller companies and give them the attention that they deserve and they need and they want without breaking the bank. So we will continue to focus on the small and medium-sized businesses and municipalities, park districts, to provide the services that we provide without compromising on our foundation and our ethics and our moral compass. So we're very proud of the service that we're providing, and we love to work with our customers as they have needs and questions and issues that come up. Just a fact of life. So let me shift over now, and I'm going to show you these videos here in just a second. But we've actually deployed hundreds of dash cams throughout the area, throughout the country. A lot of customers use dash cams for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes it's monitoring their employees. Sometimes it's monitoring how their employees are driving. Most of the time, it's to keep the drivers safe. Some businesses require dash cams, and others, it's a nice to have feature that we're able to provide. I have one client who happens to be based in the Florida area, in Bradenton, Florida. They've deployed more than 20 tracking units. Most of them are dash cams in their trucks. They have semi trucks and they have vans, and they have in the past, well, in a 30-day period, they had a series of incidents, which is really unfortunate. And I'm going to show you. Actually, there was 4 incidents that happened in a period of about a month. So he definitely, and each time the owner would call me and say, "Hey, can you help me out? We had an accident today. I know what the driver told me. Can you help me out? What's the facts? What's the real skinny here? And can you send me the video footage?" Now, the customers have access to the video footage, but oftentimes they're so busy running their business that they don't have the time to learn exactly all the steps necessary to download the video. And it's not hard to do. It's just that may not be their focus. So they call me and they call us, and we help them with their video footage. Sometimes it's longer footage. We have to reach out to our provider and get a longer string of video footage to be stitched together. Sometimes it's a very quick download of an image or two, and we email it over to our clients. So we're very, very responsive, and we've had some situations where we've had a vehicle that was stolen, and we were able to track the vehicle and watch the video live while the vehicle was being driven by the thief. So in that case, I pulled over on the side of the road when the client called me in a panic, and I'm like, "I got you." And I logged in from my cell phone, and I was able to find the video footage, told him exactly where the vehicle was, and the customer recovered his vehicle before the thief did any damage to the vehicle, and before he can actually dispatch the police to do it, because the criminal had been crossing over city lines, driving back and forth through a couple different suburbs. So he was having a hard time figuring out where this guy was to get the right police department involved with recovering that vehicle. But we do this kind of stuff to help our clients and provide them a substantial amount of value for what we have to offer. And that's made a difference in these business owners' lives. So let me share this video. I'm going to do a little voiceover here for you, so you kind of, for those of you that might be listening, you can still get the essence of what we're sharing on the screen. And if you can watch us on Rumble or YouTube, you can see the video footage as well. And if you are listening, maybe go back at a later time to watch the film clips here. But anyway, let me share this screen here. and we will get started with this first video. So this first video, semi truck driving down the interstate in Florida, and he's just driving along. He's in his lane. He's doing all that he needs to do. He is driving 54.4 miles, and it's a quick little stop there because there was some language that preceded. Let me back this up here. But as you can see, as he's driving along in the lane, this pickup truck crosses over the line into his lane. You can see he tears off the mirror off the side of his pickup truck, damages the left front side of his van or his pickup truck, but obviously damaged the right front corner of the semi truck, and just kept on going. Now, the driver had shared some language that I didn't want to share here on the video, so I cut the video right after the impact. But the driver pulled over, inspected the vehicle, and then called the business owner. The business owner called me and asked me to download the footage. So they were not able to do much with this incident because the driver just drove off. But at least the owner knows what actually happened. So it happens. So that was one incident that happened with this particular company. Now, another incident that came up here, and it's starting here in just a second. All right, so this one, it's a quick one as well. Driving in a left turn lane. There's two left turn lanes. This van is driving. They have a load of a van full of people in the van. So they're in of the two left turn lanes. He's in the right lane of the two lanes. And there's traffic in the two center lanes going straight. They're at a stoplight. The light is green for the left turn lane. So this driver is planning to make the left turn. And as he's going along here, this air conditioning van pulls out into his lane. Clearly, as the driver of the truck pulling into the lane had time to stop and allow the van to go around him. Or he doesn't, but he has time to stop. He does not stop. He continues driving out. And this driver of the van did not have time to evade this, and they collide. So you can see, boom, keeps coming, and they collide. And that kind of stuff happens a lot too. And the driver wasn't doing anything. He wasn't driving fast. He was driving 16 miles an hour in that lane. And unfortunately, he couldn't avoid the accident. So it just happens. But again, as the owner of the business, when an accident happens and they have no visibility, they're left to the explanation from the driver. And oftentimes the video footage makes a huge difference. So we have another video coming up here, and this one here is this one is really interesting because they're driving along a bridge in Cape Coral, Florida. Now this is spanning a big body of water, and it's a 3-lane expressway. And this is a semi truck again. He's in the left lane. He's driving under 50 miles an hour. There's traffic around him in the center lane. I don't see any traffic in the right lane at this point in time. But as we're watching this video, notice this. The car from the far right lane somehow makes a left turn, hits the barrier on the left side of the interstate, bounces off the wall right in front of the semi truck. The semi driver, there's a car right next to him. You see an SUV right to the right of this semi. Obviously, the car that hit the wall is on the left of him. He has no option but to hit this car. And, the driver had no option. But again, the owner called me and said, well, what really happened? And so we downloaded the video and we shared that with him, and he was able to, coach and counsel his driver. Now, this last video I'm going to share, this was the first one in the series that occurred. But this video is interesting because the semi truck is driving along an interstate, and in Florida, the shoulders there really are no shoulders. In this case, there's just a median or a grassy area right next to the yellow line. Now, the driver claimed that 2 rear tires had popped. I don't know if it popped or if he just drifted off the road. But as it's going along here, and it's a little choppy here, but he's going along, and you'll see that he drifts off a little bit into the median, and then he regains some control of the vehicle. So now he's half in the grass. Now he's back on the road, and he didn't quite stay on the road, and he rolled the truck. And this semi had a full load of produce on the back of his truck, and he pummeled the truck into the ravine in between the boulevard there before in the interstate, the grassy area. Now, obviously, you can see he steps out, he gets out of his vehicle, he walks away from it. There were no injuries. There were no injuries in any of these cases. But the important thing is that now the owner knows what exactly happened. And that in that last case, sadly, the truck was ruined because it rolled over into the ditch and damaged it on multiple angles. So, but in all these cases, the drivers were safe, and now the owner has some confidence of what was happening. And in really all these cases, if in fact in that last case those tires did blow on the trailer, and which caused the accident, if that was the case, then in all four of these instances, the drivers didn't do anything wrong. They were doing what they were supposed to. And we've seen many cases where the drivers are being negligent. Either they're texting and driving, they're driving too fast, they're being distracted in some way, shape, or form, or they're just being reckless. So we have plenty of situations where the drivers make mistakes in the process and cause an accident. And the owners want to see that too. They just want to know the facts. There was a recent study done with where people that were interviewed right after an accident about the incidents leading up to the accident. It was like 98 or 99% of the time, the driver involved in the accident could not recall all of the pertinent details of the accident. In some cases, they couldn't even remember the color of the car that they just hit. They couldn't remember all the details. And that's because, as we're driving on the road, most of the time, we're not anticipating getting into an accident. So you're mentally not registering and remembering every little nuance of every scenario. So many of these accidents come out of the blue without any forewarning that you may not just recall all those details. And that's where the video footage becomes so handy. And insurance companies like to see that video footage. So when there is an accident and you have to file a claim, they want to see that footage. It does help your situation. Again, and we talked about this, giving the GPS data to the insurance company. The reality is we don't give all of our data to the insurance company to know all the details. But when there's an incident, if the video footage is necessary to help prove your situation, prove your case, you as the owner of the business have the right to release that footage to the either to the police or the insurance company for proof. We've had a couple situations where the video footage is shared with the company that caused the accident. They were involved in the accident, and between the two companies, they may decide. And I had one situation where two mirrors were torn off of two semis, and both companies were blaming the other company. When my customer shared the video footage with the other company, they realized, oh yeah, you're right, my driver did drift over the line. It was our fault. We will pay for the damage, and they repaired the vehicle without filing any insurance claims. So those kind of arrangements can happen when you have all the facts. And hearsay and eyewitness testimony is only so good. When you have video proof, it really proves the case unequivocally. So we really encourage business owners to deploy these dash cams. It's not about Big Brother watching. And I'll tell you one other thing. Our dash cam solutions do offer a driver-facing camera as well as road-facing camera. There are some businesses that don't want the driver-facing camera turned on. It can be turned off. Some businesses, maybe some unions, require that the driver-facing camera is turned off. It can be turned off, and it can be turned off where it can't be turned back on. And then the driver nor the business owner cannot turn it on. It can be turned off at the software level behind the scenes where the user does not have access to enable those cameras to be turned on. And I have a solution that simply doesn't offer. We have a solution where the driver camera is an extra device, a separate unit that simply isn't installed, and we just have road facing. So I firmly believe in the value of driver facing cameras and have found it to be very useful. But there are some people, some businesses, and some unions that frown upon that, and we can accommodate that. So you don't have to worry about that being an absolute requirement or being invasion of anyone's privacy. So you, as the business owner, get to decide, how do I handle this, and how do I want to do the best thing for my business while protecting the rights of my drivers and the opinions and the feelings of my drivers. So you, as the business owner, can make that decision and that determination. You have complete control over that when you purchase the tracking units from Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions. And in fact, I just made one other just made a statement that I want to correct, and then go back to my earlier list of things that make us different, and how we're different from other companies. I just said when you purchase tracking units. The reality is you don't purchase tracking units from Precise Fleet Tracking. You actually rent the tracking units. So in most cases, you buy the tracking unit where you pay an upfront fee for a unit, and then you pay for the monthly service. With Precise Fleet Tracking, you rent the units from Precise. Precise owns the units. We rent them to you, and you simply pay a monthly fee. Now, there are a couple one-time fees you do pay for activation and installation, but you don't pay for that hardware. And that's important. It's a really important component that I failed to include this in the first part of the episode that I really wanted to focus on. So I apologize for being a little disjointed here, but this is an important point that I want to get across. When you rent the units from Precise, we own them. When there's an issue, if there's a warranty issue where a unit fails, which doesn't happen very often, but on occasion it does, we replace the unit at no cost. We swap the unit out. We install the new unit. We don't even charge you for the reinstallation of the unit. We absorb all that cost because it's under warranty and we own the unit. In a few years from now, I think it's late 2029 or maybe 2030, 2028, the 4G cellular networks are going to be decommissioned. And by that point, we'll be on the 6G or 7G network at that point. Who knows what it's going to be. But the 4G network that all of our tracking units use is going to be replaced with the 5G network that we're using on our cell phones today. Well, when that time comes, you're going to have to replace your tracking units. If you've purchased your tracking units from your current provider, you have to purchase a whole new batch of tracking units, and they will replace them for you. Now, you'll have to pay for that as well. With Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions, we own the units. If the technology changes, we will swap them out and just reinstall new units for you. We'll ask for the old units back. If you're out of town, we'll have them installed, and we'll just get the units back. But the bottom line is, we're going to get the new units in your vehicles so that you're compliant and you're capable to continue with the tracking. But you don't have to buy new equipment. And these units can run a couple $100 a piece. The dash cams can run $300 or $400 a piece. So if you happen to have a fleet of 30 or 40 vehicles and you have to spend $300 or $250 per vehicle, that upfront capital cost can be substantial. With Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions, you don't have to do that. A couple one-time fees upfront, activation and installation, but otherwise it's all monthly. And we make it really, really affordable and easy for you to get involved and without having that burden of a capital investment. So rental of the equipment is really important. And a limited lifetime warranty is also very critical point to add, because the manufacturers typically offer a 12-month warranty on the equipment. We, as Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions, we extend that warranty to be lifetime because we trust the equipment. We know it's good, solid equipment, and we want to be different, and we want to be better than everybody else. We don't want to hide behind, oh, it's out of warranty. Sorry, you got to buy another unit. I don't think that's really appropriate and necessary, and it's not ideal for our clients. So that's why we do it differently. So the bottom line is that Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions is a different kind of company. We are very focused on satisfying our clients and being just easy to do business with. and easy to stay with us and build loyalty. And all we ask is that you give us the opportunity to have a conversation, understand your environment, your needs, and we design a solution that meets that exactly. We have a wide range of tracking units. Some are plug units, some are wired units, some are battery units. We have a few different manufacturers that we support, and we put the right set of units together, the right solution of units together to meet your specific needs. There is no one size fits all. Um, and we'd just love to have that conversation. So if you happen to have a fleet of vehicles that have logos on the outside, you should have tracking on the inside. And if you have tracking today, I really encourage you to have a conversation with Precise Fleet Tracking. Even if you're currently in a contract today, that's okay. I will not shy away from that. And what we do in those cases is we plant the seed of what we have to offer. We also ask you to understand when your contract expires. And if you have an auto renewal clause, there's a very tight window with which you can opt out of that auto renewal. So we help you through that process, and we get ourselves lined up so when you are able to get out of your contract, we can help you. And in many cases, we transition with clients over a period of months or years as units expire, we remove them and we put in our units, and then wait for the next batch to expire, and we'll install our units and remove the existing units. And eventually we get all the vehicles installed and tracked and operating on one system. So there's lots of different ways and to get around those contracts, and we work very diligently to do that. And we also offer a free demonstration. If you'd like, I can put a plug-in unit in your vehicle, and you can try it for a week or so and see how your driving looks and what our systems look like, and see if it's something that works for you. A lot of opportunity to get some great information from Precise Fleet Tracking without obligation, without fees, and no long-term commitments. You know, we like to believe that we're friendly to do business, easy to do business with, and easy to stay doing business with. So we encourage you to check us out. If you want to find out more information about Precise Fleet Tracking Solutions, I encourage you to go to our website at precisefleettracking.com. That's precisefleettracking.com. You can email me at michael@precisefleettracking.com. That's michael@precisefleettracking.com, or call us at 847-865-6008. 847-865-6008. And we'll start the dialogue and see where it takes us. In the meantime, I do encourage you to take this episode and share it amongst your friends. You know, if you are a business owner and you have commercial vehicles, and maybe this isn't the right fit for you, but you may know somebody that it is a good fit for. You know, anybody that has a fleet of vehicles, please share this podcast on your social media platforms, and encourage people to reach out to us and see how we can help them get a little better knowledge about what's going on the road. And the last thing I'll throw in here is, if you happen to have a fleet of vehicles in your personal family, maybe you have kids that are driving, young, youthful drivers, maybe an elderly driver in the family, GPS tracking works in those cases as well. So we do offer personal tracking, not our main focus, but we do install personal tracking in a lot of vehicles, whether it be Turo rental vehicles or family vehicles, just so you know how the vehicles are operating, where the vehicles are going, how fast they're driving, etc. We believe an informed parent about how their kids are driving the vehicles helps the youthful driver be a safer driver. I put in my kids' vehicles when they started driving, and today they still have tracking in their vehicles, and it works. It works really well, and it helps them be safe, and that's better for everybody. So anyway, enough of that. Thank you so much for listening to us this week. We really appreciate your attention and your sharing of our episodes. Encourage you to subscribe and set the notification button so when we do post a new episode, we try to do one every week, give or take. But as often as we can post a new episode, we will. And if you want to be a guest on an upcoming episode, I encourage you to go to igotaguypodcast.com and fill out the contact tab or pop-up that comes up on the screen, and send it over to us, and we get you in a schedule. whatever your business you're running, real estate, insurance, financial planning, uh, estate planning, attorney, you name it. All kinds of businesses we can support, and we can have you on as a guest. So I encourage you to reach out to us at igotaguypodcast.com. So thank you again so much for being listening this week, and we will talk with you very soon. So thanks, and make it a great week. Take care.
Thank you for listening to I Got a Guy podcast. For past podcasts and more information, go to igotaguypodcast.com. That's igotaguypodcast.com. Please share this podcast on your social media feeds and tune in again next week to I Got a Guy podcast.